off your engine!
Christian134 says, Scotty, what do you think of the performance chips, the ones that say you get more power or better gas mileage? Well, one, I say if you got an older car, just stay away from them because most of the companies that make them have gone bankrupt in the past. I had people try them, and invariably they would cause problems in the long run. If they gave more power, they'd get horrible gas mileage, or if they got better gas mileage, they'd have no acceleration, and sometimes the check engine light came in. But realize that's old technology. The old cars, and we're talking, 30-something years ago, their computers had chips you could replace. Most of the cars now, for decades, they don't use chips. They reprogram them, and you can have the computer reprogrammed for power or gas mileage, whatever, but it can only be done by a professional. And, you got to understand, when you buy a car nowadays, it's set pretty much at the best medium that it can. Good enough power that you got power, but good enough gas mileage so it's not a gas hog. So it's a happy medium. And then in the people that have really fancy cars, you got buttons for that too. You can have economy, you can have normal, you can have racing buttons. And so each one goes from better gas mileage and slower to faster and worse gas mileage. That's all built into the computers these days on fancy cars. For any car you want, you can buy one of these machines you can plug in and you can mess with that stuff, but you better know what you're doing when you do. When they do that at race cars, they do it on a dynamometer with a pro who analyzes all the data and decides, okay, what do we want? We want speed and we want acceleration in what gears, and it's all a complex bit of software that only really sharp guys with dynamometers can set correctly. So my advice is stay away from all that stuff. Yankee Boy 99 says, Scotty, I got a 1988 560 SL. I'm buying new tires. I saw Michelin tires that get better fuel economy. Does it make a significant difference in economy or just 2 miles extra? Not even that. You're not going to get 2 miles a gallon extra. It's tiny, the amount. They actually kind of show the mileage that you get extra over the course of a year. And it's infinitesimal, that tiny amount you're going to get better. And that big old Mercedes 560 SL gas hog, it's not going to make hardly any difference at all on that big heavy monster with a V8 engine. Don't waste your money on that stuff. That's more for people that drive Toyota Priuses and they want to squeeze out an extra, 0.25 miles a gallon or something out of the car. If that. They usually don't even do that much. Stuban says, hey Scotty, what's your opinion on made in Germany 2010 BMW 335i with 43,000 miles for about 15 grand? Cars over here cost more and it's a facelift version with a single turbo. What do you think? Methinks that it's an endless money pit that's just beginning. It's tricking you. You get in, you might think, oh, that's just a little pit. And then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, 43,000 miles. It's not going to fall apart yet, but it is 10 years old. So all that plastic crap on the engine is going to start cracking and leaking. Do not buy that car. I wouldn't give 5 grand for that car. They're money pits. They're rich men's toys. That's what those things are. And if you want to be someone who puts a lot of money into a car, go right ahead. But even then, my customers with those things here in Houston, guess what? They're doctors and lawyers, and they don't even buy them. They lease them with their business, so it's before taxes. It's a completely different game. They never buy them. They just lease them. They're not dumb. I did have one lawyer that bought one, and he said it was the worst decision he ever made. And then, rather than getting another one and leasing it, he bought a Lexus, which he drives to this day, and he's very happy about. Gaspar says, I'm thinking of buying a certified pre-owned car. One's a 2017 GMC Sierra 1500 for $33,000, and the second car is his 2016 GMC Sierra 1500 for $33,000. If both of these cars are not reliable, please let me know as I can continue my car search. Okay, continue your car search. I got a customer that's got one of those Sierras, 2017, the AC broke on it already because they didn't make the AC condenser right and it all leaked out. Don't waste your money on those. Sheesh, $33,000 and $34,000 for used trucks. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that. They're not good trucks anyway. You want to get a truck, got to get a big American one, get F-150. You want something that's going to last long and you want a foreign one that's even better made, get a Toyota Tundra. Don't buy GM. Their quality is, and it's been that way for quite some time. Look somewhere else. Don't get those things. Mitsubishi One says, Scotty, I'm learning how to drive. I have a 98 Camry to use. I saw a 71 Nova sedan for $1,500. Would a Nova be easier to learn and fix and maintain, or should I keep the Camry instead? Thanks. Keep that Camry, baby. Those things can run forever. Now, a 71 Nova, yes, it's a pretty basic car. And, I mean, if it's got a V8 or something, it's somewhat of a collector's item. If it's got a 6-cylinder engine, it's not worth anything. But if it's got a V8, it's kind of a collector's item. But that thing is what? What are you talking about? That's like almost a 50-year-old car. It's a 49-year-old car. Do you really want to be driving around a 49-year-old car? You'll be fixing that thing from now until you get rid of it. Those are fun collector's toys. If you wanted something on the side to fix up and learn how to fix cars, sure. Not as an everyday driver. I mean, if you really like that idea, keep the Camry and buy the Nova as a toy you can play around with. Because if it does run $1,500, you'll always get your money back. Junior Thomas says, I got an 04 Toyota Camry. It's got the code P0420 for inefficient catalytic converter. I'm new to Scan Tool and I bought a good one, and I'll tell MD808 Pro. Now I can't figure out if it's the oxygen sensor or the converter that needs replacing. All right, now you're into the world of mechanics. Realize it's a complex feedback relationship between the fuel injectors, the computer, all the sensors that feed the computer information, including both oxygen sensors, the one before the cat, the one after the cat. Now, when it says the cat's inefficient, it can be literally dozens of things that cause that. Now, you say here that it runs perfectly fine. Well, if it does, heck. I had a customer drive a Toyota 5 years that way, and at the end of the 5th year, for some inexplicable reason, the P0420 code went away, and he didn't even do anything to the car. It just means it's working inefficiently. Now, I mean, if I were you, I'd watch that video that I have, fixing a catalytic converter by cleaning it. And sometimes just throwing cleaner in will get rid of the code because the catalytic converter is a little bit off. Now, to figure it out, forget it. You're not going to be able to even use that scan tool to do it. Even my scan tools won't give the whole setup of it. It requires a freeze frame, oscilloscope, and all kinds of stuff. But if you want to guess, often it's the back oxygen sensor. Just replace it and see if it goes away. It's easy enough to do. It just bolts off, bolts on. But if it runs okay, it isn't really going to hurt anything. A customer of mine drove it 5 years that way, and then it went away magically by itself. Well, the big question, is Ford going to bring back those gigantic Ford Excursions from the early to mid-2000s? It turns out that Ford just filed at the patent offices to use the name Excursion again. Now realize that patents only last so long, and after a certain amount of time it's no good. It looks like Ford is going to bring back those gigantic Excursions. I guess it only makes sense with the price of oil so cheap and gas is getting to be so cheap. Why not make gigantic gas guzzlers again? Well, GM's bringing back the Hummer, albeit in an electric form. They say it's going to be electric. It's not out yet, but they said it's going to be electric. But it looks like Ford's going to bring those gigantic Excursions back. If you don't remember, those things were even bigger than the Expeditions. Kind of like the evolution of the dinosaurs. They got bigger, 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 bigger. A little bit smaller, but now it's bigger again. They're huge 3-row vehicles. You can tow a lot with them. You can get a V10 or a diesel engine in them. So, you Excursion fans out there, you might have something to look forward to. They brought the name back. Maybe they'll bring the vehicle back soon. Well, don't say I didn't tell you so, but I did. Ford is now postponing their autonomous self-driving vehicle service until 2022. The other day, they said they nixed the plug on some of these Rivian trucks that they were going to build, the Lincoln Mercury, and now they say that their plans to launch an autonomous vehicle is going to be delayed until 2022. A company called Argo AI in Pittsburgh, Ford threw $1 billion in them in 2017, is the one that's developing the self-driving vehicles. And they're relatively smart because they're planning it with big things. They're also partnering with Walmart, Domino's, and Postmates. Like I said, if you're going to have things like that, start with businesses that are set up. They know the routes. They're delivering things, especially big trucks where they take a long area with a lot of stuff, then they get somewhere and empty it out. It kind of makes sense. Start with the simple things. Don't start with the ones that are going to deliver packages, not the individual ones. Start with the mass and work your way down, not the other way around. Now, Ford isn't the only one involved with this Argo AI. VW in 2019 pledged $2.6 billion into it. So, the Germans are working on the self-driving stuff too with the same company. You'd be surprised how they're all intertwined these days. If you remember, a little while back I was talking about how the four-wheel drive trucks are having problems because a tornado hit a factory that made the transfer cases. Well, the transfer cases, the same ones we used in Fords, Toyotas, different companies. They're all kind of mingled together today. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.